Welcome to KQEG and Seven Rivers Sports. I'm your host, Terry Harris, and each week an inside look into sports, into wellness, into fitness. Today, we're talking about college soccer. We're talking about high school soccer, club soccer, you name it, soccer throughout the Coulee Region. A fast-growing sport, no question about it. Our guest today, Jordan Penn, along with Evan Espelien. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Well, let's start with you, Jordan. I read your resume, and my gosh, an interesting, defining change in your lifestyle. Growing up in Wausau, being an athlete there, and then going to college, playing basketball, and then, what do you know, he comes to Viterbo University. Tell us about that.
Well, I guess growing up, my dad was my basketball coach throughout high school, AAU, everything. He was my coach. Basketball is always my number one. He pushed me to play basketball. Soccer, I really just played to stay in shape for basketball, honestly. So I went and played basketball over at UW Oshkosh. Didn't have the greatest experience in my life, so I transferred out of there, kind of got in contact with Greg, coach of Viterbo, and told him that I was interested in playing soccer. I actually was supposed to come and play basketball at Viterbo, but that fell through last second. Went and played soccer there and just kind of sprouted a passion for it.
Yeah, but Jordan, I know a lot of athletes that are multiple sport gifted type of athletes that transfer and go to different sports. You're a unique case, my friend, going from basketball to soccer. I mean, I've not heard of that before, but if you played college Division III basketball, you must have been pretty darn talented in that area too.
I like to think I was. I mean, I always grew up playing and played in a lot of basketball games. I can't remember how many, a lot more than I did for soccer, but I guess it just came natural as far as soccer, so it was an easy transition for me, running a lot, being in shape.
Was there a time during your college career and you thought, this maybe isn't for me?
For basketball, you mean? Honestly, no. I mean, basketball has always been my passion. I still want to go on and be a college basketball coach, but at the same time, I just had such a poor experience over playing there. Just didn't get along with the coach and everything, so it just kind of took my passion away for playing. I just didn't have it anymore.
So there was lots of college soccer programs around.
Yep.
Viterbo being one of hundreds in the Midwest. And you growing up in Wausau, what attracted you to Viterbo?
My mom actually graduated from Viterbo, and then my dad actually went to UW La Crosse, so they kind of pushed me a little bit. My mom was really happy when I chose Viterbo.
Well, good. I think Viterbo University was glad looking at what you've accomplished. But Aris Espelien, wow. Reading your resume, too. A high school student.
Yep.
That has already experienced a great deal of success. Before we talk about that, let's go down memory lane. Let's go back to you being introduced to the sport of soccer.
Okay. I would say I started playing when I was about 5 years old or so. It was back when I was living in Pueblo, in Colorado. We just started. My parents were just kind of trying to experiment sports with me. I played t-ball, I played basketball, I played soccer. Soccer just happened to be the one that really stuck with me. My dad was my coach, so he kind of pushed me that direction. He had played before. He had gone to Germany to play a little bit in high school. And so they just kind of stuck with me, and I've been playing ever since. Well,
I read your resume, and some of the things you've accomplished only as a junior are pretty remarkable. So besides having the experiences and the influence of your dad and others, you obviously have some tremendous soccer skills, too.
I would like to believe so, yeah.
And talk about your, so far at Holman, good soccer program. I'm familiar with that, but talk about the program.
Well, it's a relatively, soccer's a relatively new program at Holman. It's been there for probably, I would say, less than 15 years. We just had our last coach just stepped down. He had been the coach since the beginning, kind of starting up the program. At the time when he started it up, we weren't good, really, at all. It was mostly kids that had never played before, so it was really more just a development for the last few years. And then my freshman year, we started playing. We had a really strong core group of juniors at the time, and so we ended up doing really well. We started winning games, we started to actually kind of, we had a team that was passionate, and so from there it's just kind of grown and grown.
Well, good. Well, bright future ahead of you. We're going to talk more about that. But Jordan, interesting. You graduated last year, and you were an outstanding player. You were a captain. You were a leader on the Viterbo Fall Soccer program. Captain, as we said, and obviously you also academically strong. So you brought a gift in a variety of ways. Reflect back on your career and what legacy you left at Viterbo.
Well, I'd say I was happy with my career. I know kind of the same thing with Greg. He was newer to the program. He was still trying to rebuild a little bit, lost a lot of players that transferred out. So it was a rebuilding process in the first 2 years, I would say. We had a little rough spurts here and there just because it was new players, a lot of guys that probably shouldn't have been playing college soccer, but we're still working hard at it. And then finally my senior year, we honestly had a good season, ended up winning a playoff game, and then had a tough run against the #1 seed. But I'd like to think that I'm proud of my legacy at Viterbo, regardless of how many wins or losses we had.
Well, we've had a lot of Viterbo people on the show before, athletes, administrators, and coaches. And just looking at your resume from growing up as an Eagle Scout, National Honor Society, a tremendous amount of success, obviously understanding the platform that athletes have when you're young, when you're in high school, and when you're in college. So Viterbo, of course, is special in terms of the NAIA Champions of Character, the things that they focus on. Let's talk a little bit about that. If you could look back at some of the most important things you learned from those soft skills, what would they have been?
I guess Viterbo taught me quite a bit, in sports or in the education department, but I would have to say just caring for others. They pounded in our heads that we really need to serve others and care for others that don't have as many advantages that we do, but also be very thankful for the advantages that we have.
So you just sort of described the servant leadership,
Yeah.
Put others before yourself, which is referenced in the Bible many times. When you look back at some of those classes you had and people that inspired you at Viterbo, who would they be?
I would have to say one of my favorite teachers would have to be Melissa Cullum. She was in the Army for a long time. She had a lot of really great stories that she taught us. But then she also taught my VUSM. It was a leadership course. She taught it a little different than most professors, but it was a very intellectual, a very personal type of way. She took the stories and related them to us and explained how life should really work and how her life went throughout time and how she was able to be successful.
Even though a young player, Evan, still in high school, wow, impressive in terms of the leadership that you are displaying in the clubs you belong to, in how you project yourself around the school and National Honor Society. You're on your way to being successful academically and athletically. So you know how to blend the two, don't you?
Yeah, I would say I have a pretty good idea of how to kind of get all of that to work out with volunteering and helping others, and then making sure I get done what I need to do with sports, being there for the team practices, and then also work and just social life in general.
So many young people, though, are intimidated by, influenced by other things and other people and so on, and you have to be a strong person in order to separate the good from the bad and so on, and not everyone makes the right choices, and maybe some of your teammates and friends and so on don't make the right choices, and you being only a junior but being a leader, how do you handle that, and what advice do you give them, and what do you do in a case of players that are maybe going in the wrong direction or are underachievers?
Usually, if there's someone that's kind of making decisions that aren't the greatest, I usually try and kind of give them my advice on what to do. Kind of be tell them it's probably not the greatest idea. It can kind of affect their future, but ultimately, I know it's up to them to decide what to do. So I let them do that. I just I like to be there for people when they need me, so that if they need someone to fall back on or talk to, I'm there. But ultimately, I let them kind of figure it out.
So if I asked your teammates at Holman High School, a junior, to describe you, your strengths, your leadership, what would they say?
They'd probably say I'm good at motivating. I like to stay positive. Probably one of my weaknesses is I'm not the most vocal when I'm out on the field playing, but I'm always there. Like if someone gets down, I'm there to help them back up. I like to try and build the team up, talk positive.
I bet you have an influence just because of who you are, and much more mature than many people at your age. So that's a compliment. That's why you're on the show, by the way, because we heard about your strengths. So, well, good. We're going to step aside just for a minute. When we come back, we're going to talk more about the overarching soccer program throughout the greater La Crosse area and introduce you to a new program that you may not know about. We'll be right back.
After 80 years in our beautiful area, it's easy to find a home that's kept comfortable by Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning. To say thank you, we're celebrating our 80th anniversary in style.
When you install a new Carrier residential air conditioner now until June 27th from our La Crosse or Winona locations, get 50% of your purchase back if there's a new record high temp on July 4th. Call now for complete details.
Turn to the experts, Carrier and Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning.
Welcome back to Seven Rivers Sports. Again, today we're talking about soccer and get more into detail about soccer throughout the area for those that would like to get involved. Our guests today, Jordan Penn and Evan Espelien, talking about your experiences at Viterbo and high school. But, you know, all of us have setbacks in life, and not everybody is able to recover from them. And I know it was difficult for you in 2015, Jordan, because you had some significant injuries that must have been a struggle for you.
Yeah, I mean, it was tough. It was ended up, I guess the best way to put it is I shattered the left side of my face during my senior year playoffs. So I had to undergo quite a bit of extensive surgery, but luckily it came out well. I looked fairly decent, I suppose, but yeah, it was rough. It wasn't the best because we ended up winning that game and I wasn't able to play in the next one. So it was a little rough sitting at home and hoping that the guys were going to be able to pull it out or at least compete well. But
so let's reflect back on that. I mean, sometimes people have dramatic philosophical experiences in terms of changing the philosophy of life when they have those setbacks. Did you?
no, I think I pretty much came out the same. I mean, I guess I don't really remember too much because I had a concussion right away, but after I got hit, my assistant coach told me that I immediately was telling him I wanted to go back in the game. So I feel like I'm still the same person, if not even more driven.
That's good. I mean, most people that are successful are driven. So is there a philosophy of life that's taken you so far and going to take you to the next chapter of your life?
I guess, yeah, my parents really instilled a lot of effort in me, and they really taught me how to work hard at everything I do. I guess my dad's always said that my actions speak louder than your words, so I've kind of lived by that as far as, like, I'm always going to put my best foot forward and hope that whatever I want is going to happen for me.
I'm confident of that, too. First half of the show, we talked about your success as a youth soccer player and at Holman, but there's some also sort of, I read about you in terms of some defining moments in the future, you know, on a select team that you are involved with.
Okay. Yep. So this last year I was in some camps with that were run by the Aris team for the area, and I did some camps there, and then I was also invited to some practices, and I played in one game last summer for the team. And then this year, the coach or the general manager of the team asked me to sign for them. So I'm their youngest player this year, and I'm really excited to see where it takes me.
Wow, that's an honor, and the youngest player. Well, you talked about the Aris soccer program, something new to me and probably to a lot of our listeners. And so let's go from the mission to what opportunities are out there for people of all ages to get involved in this program, Jordan.
Well, I guess Aris itself is actually a professional team in Greece right now. But yeah, the team used to be originated, the semi-professional team. They're in the NPSL, but it was originated in Eau Claire, actually, and then it just recently moved over to La Crosse. But basically it's looking to work with younger youth players and make them into better soccer players. I mean, such as Evan, he's a young guy and he's starting to work hard. A lot of the people in the NBSL they're majority college players, so it poses a little bit of a, I'm trying to think of the right word, but it poses a little bit of an obstacle for him, makes it a little bit more difficult for Evan, but it's going to make him a lot better in the long run.
So the National Premier Soccer League, that's pretty impressive. But so you have somebody watching this broadcast, and it'll be on YouTube, by the way, pretty quick, so you'll be able to watch it throughout the world. And I'm not sure whether my son, my daughter can get involved in that. The mission, what's the actual purpose of it? What would you say that would be, Jordan?
I would say is just to give opportunity for kids to play soccer that love it and are really trying to get better and try to make a career out of it or make a collegiate team or do whatever they can, honestly, with soccer.
Speaking of a career, before we went on the air, you talked about like perhaps you taking your skill set to another country.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely am open to the idea. I just graduated, so taking a little bit of time off school before I go back to grad school, but I would like to see and like to think that I am capable of playing overseas. I'm trying to play over in Greece right now with one of my friends that actually graduated from Viterbo with me as well, so we're going to give it our best shot.
This may be a difficult question because you haven't been over there yet, but like when you compare the skill set, the talent level in this area that you've seen with maybe what is in Europe, any thoughts on that?
I guess it depends what level you're at, but I mean there are a lot of Europeans that come over and play collegiate soccer here as well, so at the same time I have played against a lot of Europeans as far as guys from England, Greece, Brazil, so I feel like I've seen quite a bit of European. I actually have been over to Greece and played a couple games there as well with Viterbo, so I was able to see a little bit of the youth development programs and some of the professional teams as well.
Any thoughts, Evan, as you look at your playing for the Wisconsin State program and where that may take you down the line?
So I was part of the Wisconsin State ODP team. It's basically, for people that don't know, it's basically the program throughout the United States that kind of builds up players and selects players to play for the United States Olympic men's and women's soccer team. And so I was able to make the state team for that, which kind of exposed me to kind of the skill set of other players around Wisconsin and also Chicago, or like Illinois and Minnesota, places like that. So that kind of opened my eyes to kind of what I have to do in order to really want to succeed in soccer.
So you have the goals, the aspirations, the work habits, and your goal is to first be involved in a 4-year school and play collegiate soccer. And there's a good program around here called Viterbo.
Yeah.
That may just want your services. And the coach is well respected and well connected.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that?
I know I've looked into going to Viterbo. I want to go into engineering. So while Viterbo doesn't necessarily have that degree, I'm not opposed to going there, kind of getting my generals in as I live locally. Maybe cut down on the cost, play soccer there, and then it's definitely an option I have right now. Kind of looking into that.
Now you're pretty young, so I don't want to put you on the spot. We asked Jordan about his philosophy of life, and so many young people are just kind of not sure where life's going to take them, but you seem to be able to already determine what your philosophy of life is all about.
Yeah. I'd like to say that kind of my philosophy in life is that anything that you really want to keep and anything you really want to achieve, you have to work hard to get. Nothing that's easy to get is going to be worth having. So whether it be academically grades, if you want it to be going further in sports, if you want to get a job, relationships with family, friends, girlfriends, those are the things you have to work hard at in order to really kind of get anywhere with those.
All of us have some things, Jordan, that are people would be surprised to know. So if I said, Jordan, Penn, what's something that the viewers might not know about you? What would that be?
Well, I suppose I would have to say that it's deep down, I really have an obsession with being successful. I've always thought about myself as far as like, if I don't do anything with my life, I feel like a failure in a way, even though I know deep down I'm really not. I know I have been successful, but as far as now, I feel like I really haven't achieved what I can or what I want to. So I'm really, I guess, shooting for the stars in a way and really want to achieve all that I can.
Something tells me you'll get there too, but I know a guy by the name of Michael Jordan that has kind of the same philosophy. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, I grew up idolizing him, and I still do, honestly. So read countless books on him and learn quite a bit just from his books.
There's another guy that I follow occasionally. He's more recent than Michael Jordan. Is Steve Kerr, who is a professional basketball coach, as you well know, and he has a sort of a logo that he uses. And it's ZFL, which means Zest for Life. And he tries to get as much out of every single day as he possibly can. Would that describe you too?
Yeah, I would agree with that 100%.
So if I, what would describe you as a young junior in terms of maybe your, what you feel about being driven and where you got that kind of a personality?
I'd like to say I'm mostly who I am today because of my parents. They've always, even when I was younger, they've always kind of pushed me along a path, but they've always led it up to me. So they've always told me that if I really want something, I've got to work for it. So they've kind of instilled in me that drive to get things done and get what I want if I want to get it.
It's all about encouragement, giving people the opportunities. That's what soccer's all about, giving people opportunity in this area through Aris and other programs to explore some skills, develop confidence, meet good people, be around good coaches, and develop into good young people like you, Evan, and with you, Jordan, we're going to read about over in Europe, playing next year, I think, right?
Hopefully, that's the plan at least.
Well, good. It's a leap of faith, isn't it? But you're not afraid to take that leap?
No, not at all. I can't see myself doing anything else right now.
Good. Well, good. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to be on the show today. It's been enjoyable.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, it's been great.
We'll be back with some film clips on some recent games and some closing thoughts right after this.
After 80 years in our beautiful area, it's easy to find a home that's kept comfortable by Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning. To say thank you, we're celebrating our 80th anniversary in style.
When you install a new Carrier residential air conditioner now until June 27th from our La Crosse or Winona locations, get 50% of your purchase back if there's a new record high temp on July 4th. Call now for complete details.
Turn to the experts, Carrier and Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning.
Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed our conversation. We talked today about club soccer, high school soccer, college soccer, and learned a lot about what's going on throughout the Coulee region. Well, we kicked off our coverage of high school baseball on Monday at Copeland Park in MVC and an inter-city matchup, Central and Aquinas. Aquinas struck first with 1 run in the first inning and were led by freshman Jess Hondell and senior Sean D. Central's bats were silent until the 4th and the 5th inning as they scored a total of 4 runs. Seniors Preston Stack and Kyle Gilbertson led the way, both going 2 for 3. The strong pitching of Daniel Fredrickson and the nearly flawless defense were key factors in the Central Red Raider win. Central moves to 5-1 and 3-0 in the MVC and face last year's MVC champion, the Logan Rangers, on Thursday. Jacob Salvadelli took the loss for the 5-2 Blue Golds. Well, we hope you enjoyed this week's show. I'm your host, Terry Erickson, hoping you have an active and a healthy week ahead. So long from all of us here at 7 Rivers Sports.